Images may appear to be identical, but looks can be deceiving. The difference is not always obvious. It has to be discovered. There are always different sides to a story. We put the focus on the details. To see more, to understand better. CGTN. See the difference.
Well, it is day 9 of our exclusive live series, New China. Our reporters in 3 mobile studios are traveling through China's old industrial base in the northeast, the manufacturing powerhouse over in the southeast, as well as the emerging southwest region. The special series celebrates the 70th anniversary of the People's Republic of China. And today, we'll show you how China's consumer goods manufacturers have been transformed in China's southeast city of Yiwu against the backdrop of industrial upgrading. Our anchors and guests in southwest China will discuss how artificial intelligence can change the landscape of the country's industrial production. And finally, over in the northeast, we will visit the old industrial city of Shenyang, which is transforming its economy to take advantage of high-tech opportunities as well. Well, our 3 teams are all standing by right now. Let's get first the CGTN's Lindy Mtangana as well as our Yang Chengxi. They are now in Yiwu, a global powerhouse in the manufacturing of consumer goods. Lindy, Chengxi, good afternoon to you. Tell us more about Yiwu.
Well, thank you so much, Michael. Now, as you mentioned, it is day 9 of our New China series. Hard to believe that there's only 3 more days to go. But of course, today finds us, the Southeast team, coming to you live from Yiwu in Zhejiang province. Yiwu is known as the capital of small hardware, and nothing epitomizes China's manufacturing boom quite like the Yiwu International Trade City where we are. It's a 4 million square meter center and is the world's largest wholesale market for daily commodities. Of course, some things over here on the table might give you a clue as to the wide variety of goods you can find here. This place attracts thousands of local and international buyers to its over 75,000 stores. You can literally buy anything here and shop until you drop.
Well, that's right, Lindy. Now, for decades, most of the goods here have been marked with the words "Made in China." But China's growing middle class is becoming increasingly brand conscious. Product designers are now playing a key role in the manufacturing sector, introducing unique design goods to meet changing consumer needs. And so it's no longer about goods made in China, but created in China. Now, China's manufacturing sector today is bracing for the competition of the future. Let's take a look.
As China's private businesses have flourished since the 80s, these made-in-China goods produced in small factories along the East Coast have been shipped to all corners of the world. In volume, China is the world's biggest manufacturer, so much so that according to the World Bank, the volume of added value to China's manufacturing sector in 2017 was that of America, Germany, and Japan combined. Impressive as it might sound, China's cheap labor-reliant manufacturers had been on the lower end of the global value chain. Made-in-China goods were known for their quantity, but not quality, and labor wages have been rising too. But all that is slowly changing in recent years as China shifts towards innovation. In 1978, the nation's total research and development spending was merely 5.2 billion yuan, less than $1 billion. By 2018, the number had shot up to 1.96 trillion yuan, making it the second highest in the world. These investments have bore fruit. China is now home to some of the world's best trains, drones, and phones, and a host of high-end products. China's domestic car brands are still catching up with their Western and Japanese counterparts. GAC Motor in Guangzhou is an early experimenter in making higher-end Chinese cars over $30,000.
We spent over 15 billion yuan on car research and hired more than 3,500 developers from around the world. We don't imitate or copy measured products from foreign companies like many domestic brands do.
What's driving this upgrade is a higher level of design, automation, and precise production.
We actually started measuring quality back in 2000 at JD Power here in China. The gap between domestic manufacturers and international manufacturers was almost 400 problems per 100 vehicles, which is a huge gap. That was back in 2000. 2017, when we did the study, we found out that gap had narrowed significantly from 400 problems per 100 vehicles to down to only 13 problems.
Many Chinese manufacturers are striving towards the originally German concept of Industry 4.0, combining the assembly line with digital technologies. Byton is a new Chinese car brand founded by ex-BMW executives. Their factory in Nanjing, Jiangsu province boasts 17 automation assembly spots.
There is not any reason that a Chinese-built car cannot be absolute top global standard, at least on the same level as a German-built car.
What would be the ideal factory for the future? Experts say every robot and machine should be communicating with each other for maximum efficiency on a massive scale. While a nationwide application of that is still years away, experts say what should help bring about that future is the application of the next generation network, namely 5G. Unlike 4G, Chinese companies like Huawei are leading the world telecommunication industry in 5G. On the other hand, the city of Shanghai is now 5G ready, with most urban areas covered by the fast network, reaching gigabit level speed in both cable and wireless. The municipal government launched the 5G Global Innovation Port in September.
The purpose of this public-private collaboration is to leverage the power of 5G to facilitate the high-tech upgrades for a wide range of industries.
5G's claims to fame are big bandwidth and low latency. This will greatly enhance production efficiency and precision control. In the past, the precise assembly of big parts may have taken hours, but with 5G, it takes only a few minutes.
In 2018, the value added of high-tech manufacturing industries rose 11.7% in China. Yang Cheng, CGTN, Shanghai.
So new trends then driving development and growth here in China. Let's bring you more on this now. We're joined by our resident guests. Andy Muck is the Senior Fellow from the Center for China and Globalization, and we're also joined by Tim Clancy. Now, Tim has lived in Hangzhou for over 9 years, and he was named one of the 10 outstanding young talents in Hangzhou this year. Tim, congratulations.
Thank you very much, Lindy.
So, Tim, you have lived here for nearly a decade in China, sort of witnessing this transition from made in China to created in China. What's your view on the country's capacity in terms of talent and resources to really make this shift in a convincing manner?
Well, as you said, I've lived here for such a time, almost 10 years. I've seen how change has developed, and it's a very exciting time at the moment. The government is spending lots of money and attracting new talents to come to China to transfer their skills. And also at the same time, China has proven that it can take off-the-shelf technology and implement that into viable business models that affect, in turn, make the end user have a much better experience and better quality of life. I personally think that they're doing a great job at this at the moment, and it will only continue to get better, and we will see even better new things coming out from China in the next few years.
True, because as you say, increased investment in R&D and innovation, right?
That's right. Now, Mr. Mark, we are talking about tech upgrades, and how do you compare acquiring foreign technology with encouraging more homegrown and indigenous innovation here?
Sure. Well, we know that China's rebalancing its economy. One of the most important tasks it's looking to accomplish is technological innovation. And why does China care so much about this? So first of all, technology lets us do more with less. And we look at problems like energy consumption. So China generates about 2,000 gigawatts per year. And a lot of that is from coal. So we know that that is polluting. So China is able to generate more energy using less coal, less other inputs. That's a huge win for China and the world. But technology also lets us do things that we previously were unable to do, like cure cancer, establish human settlements on the moon or on Mars. So it's an incredibly important subject. And like most very important and complex subjects, I think the answer is never mutually exclusive. So China, of course, has done a lot in terms of partnerships with foreign companies, even foreign countries, in terms of developing and licensing, otherwise acquiring different kinds of technology, but also invested tremendous resources in indigenous innovation. So funding universities, funding other research institutions. And I think that both of these are really succeeding in very, very impressive ways. And I think one thing that is lying behind this, or helping power this, is advances in China's intellectual property protection scheme. So it's not just about great research and turning that research into viable commercial products, but also giving Chinese individuals, scientists, companies, as well as foreign companies, the confidence that if they make the effort to have technological breakthroughs, that they'll be able to reap the benefits of that. So I think we see China pursuing both of these paths at the same time.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much for your insight. Well, now, let's move to our mobile studio in Southwest. My colleagues Sean and Taoyuan are waiting for us in Chongqing City. Guys?
Hello, Chengxi. Hello, Lindy. So, if you've never been to Chongqing before, two things you need to know about the city, right? A, it's called China's mountain city. Everything is built on hills. And two, it's really Southwest China's largest industrial and economic center. So, traditional pillar industries included the manufacturing of automobile as well as electronics. Now the city wants to introduce artificial intelligence into the whole industrial landscape. So the city is currently under a 3-year plan to develop its smart sector. $14 billion will be spent to attract talent, set up industrial parks and incubators, as well as give out government subsidies.
Yeah, you see really the whole broad sector that is going to be affected in the coming years. And it's fascinating. If you look at the city as we're driving through it, it really is a vertical city. It's going up. The buildings are going higher and higher. And as you see, as we drive through the city of 33 million, traffic is pretty good, especially for this time of the day. So clearly they have done very well at that. Taoyuan talked about artificial intelligence. Of course, China and the United States really battling out to see which nation is going to be the leader in the early part of this century. And let's bring in our analysts to talk about how all the big industries are going to be affected here, from the automobile industry to the building laptops and everything involved with those. Alberto Lebron, thank you very much for joining us. And Lu Baocheng, thank you as well, gentlemen. I'll start with you. Can we talk a bit about how AI is going to impact all these industries? It seems like if you look at how Chongqing was growing, double-digit growth for some time, it slowed, dragged down in part by the auto industry, which is really being felt worldwide. What will this smart manufacturing do for this city?
Well, AI is a critical technology for Chinese economic development and also for Chongqing as well. According to some figures, smart industries are expected to sell more than 1 trillion RMB by 2020. So
1 trillion RMB.
1 trillion RMB. So there is a kind of industrial upgrading, especially in Chongqing. Chongqing is pushing for a smart economic development based on high-tech companies, efficient logistics, green economy, and also high-skilled human capital. If you look at special economic zones such as Lianjiang, Lianjiang is attracting lots of new economies industries such as chemicals, biomedical, and lots of R&D factories. And also environmental protection companies are working very closely with Chongqing government in order to protect Yangtze River. More than 400 people depend on Yangtze River for water supply, so this is very important to take into account. And also environment attracts high-skilled workers to develop artificial intelligence-based industries. We need to underline that 22% of artificial intelligence patents and trademarks all over the world are Chinese, so Chongqing is getting advantage of this development, of course.
Well, Professor Liu, I think artificial intelligence is of course all over China right now, but when you talk about it, when you talk about artificial intelligence, Chongqing is not the first city that comes to mind, is it? Do you think the industrial basis is there for the development of AI here?
Well, as a national policy, China already really wanted to capture the leadership of the emerging industry, which is also considered to be the fourth revolution, where AI really represents. And AI is not really operating alone. AI has to work together with cloud computing, with big data, etc. And then AI has to be applied to certain industry because, itself, it doesn't really work to that efficiency. So now I think Chongqing gave the platform for the wider application of artificial intelligence. Is not only the to hire more robots in the factory, which is also crucial to upgrade the Chinese industry and also to boost the efficiency and precision, etc. But lead to the future. For example, Chongqing is the first one to adopt the pilot the driverless test. So and then if the 5G is now in place, so AI will be playing a far more important role given the larger roads they can run through. So yes, as you said, the Chongqing is not the only one because China is really struggling to catch it with the competition of many cities. I think now Shenzhen is doing a lot on that. They and now even the new satellite city of Beijing, Xiong'an, is also very resolved to do that. But only with competition you can see that which one really comes out authentic, comes out that can really boost real efficiency, that can really lead to the industry to the future.
Right. Thank you, gentlemen, for your comment. Always good to have you. We're still driving around downtown Chongqing, seeing lots of bridges outside the bus windows. Another proof that this is a mountain city.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, we're going to throw it back to our friends in Southeast as I look out the window and really take in what really is a vertical city. Back to you guys in Southeast.
AI in a mountain city sounds fascinating. Thank you so much, Sean and Tao Yuan. They're, of course, in the southwest. But now let's turn to our colleagues in the northeast. Shinchen and Jonathan are visiting China's old industrial city of Shenyang. What do you have for us, guys?
Sure, Lindy and Yang Chengxi. So when we think about Southeast China, companies like Alibaba, Tencent, and Huawei for sure pop up. But here in Northeast, with these strong core in manufacturing, companies are thinking some different ways for some pick-me-up, right?
A little pick-me-up, because as Lindy says, this is an old industrial city in the heartland of China. As you look out the windows here of the bus, it doesn't look that way, because it's very modern in many ways, transforming city, skyscrapers, parks, big roads. But there are a lot of factories, a lot of industrial jobs here, including earlier today, where we visited the Shenyang Machine Tool Company. That is the largest machine tool maker here in China. There is also, interestingly enough, a joint venture between German car maker BMW and Chinese car maker Brilliant. So very much so, traditional manufacturing is absolutely a focus here.
And also they are trying creative ways to kind of sustain their growth and even find new, expand their portfolio. But now let's turn to our guests, Benjamin Chow with Paris School of Business and Tong Jimeng, our current affairs commentator. So right here in Northeast China, as we have mentioned, it still is actually an industrial powerhouse. But the local economy is struggling, and the local governments are trying to find new ways to improve their economy. We have the free trade zones here in Liaoning Province, and in Shenyang, the capital city of Liaoning Province. We also have this Sino-German equipment manufacturing industrial park. A mouthful, but it's a thing, right? It is. So how can international cooperations, especially Germany's Industrial 4.0, help rejuvenate the local economy?
I think international cooperation definitely has a lot of huge potential. Take Industry 4.0 as an example. 1.0 is about steam engine. 2.0 is about electricity. 3.0 is about personal computer. 4.0 is about a combination of innovation of physical and information technology, such as IoTs and robotics.
The Internet of Things.
China missed the first three. And we are not going to miss the last one because we have a huge population of scientists. But what we are lacking right now is really the good Industrial 4.0 technologies right now in Germany and Japan. But Japan and Germany, they don't have such large-scale markets. So the potential for collaboration is we cooperate together, build the 4.0 industry factories in here, and we keep on give them feedbacks about their products to improve the projects together.
Well, Professor Tong, the example we keep on talking about is this partnership between BMW, the German car maker, and Brilliance, a Chinese car maker. And, you were telling me earlier that for the first time ever for BMW, they are going to be producing an electric version of its X3 SUV in China and then selling that car outside of China's borders. So how much of a game changer is that?
Well, China once again used to be only manufacturing things for its domestic market. Brilliance and BMW produce BMW cars, sedan car, actually simply for this very domestic market. But now they're expanding and they're reaching out. I think it is simple. It is also some kind of a sign of China changing that very industrial output model. I mean, right now we are basically kind of manufacturing things for the world. With this very upgrading the technology, with the upgrading of a lot of things surrounding this very complete product. China used to be a spare parts supplier. Now we supply a complete car and for export. And so I see a kind of interesting phenomenon. China is now increasingly becoming a manufacturing nation for the world, instead of just simply satisfying a regional market, a domestic market, national market like this. I think the reason is because that we are learning, and we are learning so fast. Skilled workers, professionals, and actually are really kind of learning a lot from their counterparts. And so the way I see this as a sign of better progress in terms of joint venture company. The Germans had the technology, we had the smart people, and so smart people, and the labor force, the skilled, the large amount of labor force.
I think it's a matter of improvement in terms of Chinese manufacturing capabilities, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I think what's interesting is that probably in the not too distant future, we're going to see Chinese cars on roads all over the world, not just in China.
Yeah, I hope so, yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, well, that wraps it up for our part here. So let's send it back to the southeast with Lindy and Chongqing with more there. Hey, guys.
Thank you so much, Jonathan and Xinchen. Of course, high quality growth taking place all over the country. Well, let's bring it back here to the southeast. Now, by integrating itself into the global economy, the eastern Chinese city of Yiwu has made itself an open and highly international city. With a larger foreign community than Chinese cities twice its size, many who've moved here say they're not going anywhere else. CGTN's Xu Mengqi talks to some of Yiwu's foreign traders about their experience of the city. Let's take a look.
When Marinella Fortino first came to Yiwu in November of 2017, she knew she wanted to start her own trade business, buying from China and selling to Europe. But what she didn't foresee was that almost 2 years later, this city would become her home away from home.
So in the beginning, it was a culture shock for me to be here. It was not easy to find the products what I wanted to eat. And like we didn't have an H&M. We didn't have an Zara. I needed to travel to Hangzhou or to Shanghai to buy things.
Known as the world's capital of small commodities, Yiwu attracts more than 550,000 traveling merchants from overseas every year. And over 13,000 of them are residents in the city, according to Yiwu officials.
For the business, sure, it's the best place. You get from everywhere help. There is no headache to find the perfect tax lawyer or the perfect accounting person, for example.
Business, however, isn't all there is for foreign traders in Yiwu. Here in the city, you'll find expat communities have a quite exciting social life as well. And for many, Yiwu has become a real home. 34-year-old Venezuelan Ali Sahili, for one, did not hesitate to tell me that it was love at first sight for him and Yiwu.
A place like Yiwu, I mean, you can find people from everywhere. I'm talking about islands in the Pacific, places that you couldn't imagine. It's really unique.
Having just had a baby, Sahili says his next goal is to buy a house in Yiwu and settle down. Fortino, on the other hand, has decided to open another office back in Europe and make Yiwu her base in China.
If I say it's my home, it sounds so weird, but it is. You have your restaurants where you go, you have your friends which you hang out on the weekend, you have your working business partners, you have your office here, you have your employees here, so...
For a home away from home, foreign traders in Yiwu say the city has its unique charm. Shimengqi, CGTN, Yiwu in Zhejiang Province.
Now, finally, we have one more prestigious guest joining us today. We have Mr. Duo Jia, the Deputy Mayor of Yiwu City. Thank you very much for joining our program. Now, my question for you is that the success of Yiwu is really founded on the manufacturing power of China, right? So how is the city adapting to the tech upgrade, the manufacturing upgrade that we've been talking about?
Yes, indeed. You know, Yiwu is a city, we call it the world capital of small commodities. Small commodity means we have 1.8 million kind of goods on our market. We have business connection with more than 200 countries and regions. And we are actually a platform and window for the made in China products to the whole world. Within that, the small commodity does not mean only the inexpensive, the mass products. And we have also a lot of products now with value added. I have brought two examples for you. This one, it seems like a book, but actually it's a lamp, a bedside lamp.
That's so nice.
Oh, it changes color too.
It can change color. And this is a very good example for the products made in China. We have also value added with more design and with more technology. And also another example I've brought here is the straws, not the plastic, but this is the edible and degradable. And you know, with our company, with our entrepreneur, they have innovation on the materials. Therefore, we have also very environment protection products. This also means the made in China is upgrading. Manufacturing in China is also upgrading. We have the biggest market of the world, and we see in the products also the upgrading of Chinese products. That small commodity means now also the commodities, products made in China, plus standards, plus design, plus AI, and also plus brand, and also plus the international.
Wow, these are smart products, huh?
Very
Edible
smart
straw.
This is really great.
I might want to try that.
Yeah, me too,
Yes.
absolutely.
You can take it.
Thank you so much. The question I wanted to ask you relates to the fact that this has become a very international city, attracting people from all over the world. How does the city facilitate or ease the ability of foreigners to do business here in terms of permits and business and even just their living environment?
Thank you for this question. And indeed, Yiwu is a very international city. In the last year, we have about 500,000 international traders in our city to seek the big business opportunity on our market. To answer your question, I use one keyword, is inclusivity. First of all, inclusive growth. That means based on our market, we offer the benefit for our international guests. They can seek business opportunity, business chances. In one word, they can earn money on our city. And second is inclusive governance. We offer a lot of public service. With that, the international guests can share also the public service as local citizens. You know, the Chinese government, we are running a one-stop service in our public service. Our city guests from all the world can share also the status as our local citizens. They have a very good access to our market to register a company and to have the state permission. They go very easy here. And the third is we have the inclusive communities. We have in the last year, permanent residents, more than 15,000 foreign friends in our city. They not only they live also in communities with the local people. They have very good integrated in the neighborhood. They organize a lot of activities with local people together. We have just the Mid-Autumn Festival. You can see in our international community, a lot of foreign friends, foreign families with local families have together. They have also welfare donations, sports, musician concert together. In one word, through our openness from our city, we have the idea inclusivity, not only for our local people, not only for the Chinese people, also from the international guests, for the whole world.
I really love the use of the word foreign friends. It really makes people feel so welcome when you say that. Thank you so much, Mr. Duo.
Thank you very much.
Well, of course, we've already got ourselves some edible straws, but we need to find out what else is in this place. Shall we have a quick look?
Of course, let's take a look around, shall we? Well, these are, I think, rows of stores that sells Christmas trinkets.
Yeah, that's right. I've heard that 60% of the global market in Christmas decorations comes from right here in Yiwu. So if you're planning on shopping for this Christmas, this is where those decorations will be coming from.
Wow, it's amazing. Now with that, it's back to Beijing. Hi there, Michael.
All right, many thanks for that, Chengxi. It's so fascinating to hear all of these cities across China upgrading themselves and capturing these new opportunities from a new era of growth. Many thanks for that, our Lindy Mtangana and Yang Chengxi in Yiwu for us. And of course, also my colleagues Sean Calebs in Taoyuan in Chongqing, as well as Jonathan Betts and Xu Xinchen in Shenyang. Tomorrow, they will take a closer look at innovation in China's transportation sector, so do stay tuned for that. Global Business will be back after a short break.
In 70 years, China has undergone unprecedented transformation. From its old industrial base in the northeast to its new manufacturing powerhouse in the southeast and to its emerging southwest. CGTN offers you a panoramic view of contemporary China. Our crews will travel along 3 different routes and come to you live from dozens of locations and free mobile studios. Join us for an all-inclusive look at China on our TV channel and digital platforms, September the 9th to the 20th. It is New China.